Hey, so welcome to another episode of the Dash It Out Show, the show that brings your after hours talk to daytime. I'm your host, Big Dash Tour, and we're going to start this episode off with a little bit of ASMR. You motherfuckers like ASMR, so go ahead and do a little bit. Nah, let's get it started. Let's really get it started. An all new episode of the Dash It Out Show, the show that brings your after hours talk to daytime. And on today's episode, we have an all new guest, Mr. Tyler Nehila. Been dealing with bipolar 2 since he was a kid. He failed out of college, was arrested a few times, and attempted to join the Marines and Army, but was turned away because of his mental illness, okay? He was dealing with the depression of his life. He danced with the devil on multiple occasions, okay? And if for those of you who don't know what that is, we're going to get into that a little bit into the segment, okay? Now, currently building his apparel company called Self Conquered Apparel with the goal of inspiring those with mental health challenges, showing them it's a strength, not a curse, and you can still be a man and deal with struggle. And he's here with us today on the Dash It Out Show, and I'm about to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and do this, okay?
Don't hold back how you feel. Welcome to the platform for the misunderstood and creatives alike. So roll a joint and pour a shot. You're listening to the Dash It Out podcast, the show that brings your after hours talk to daytime. No wrong opinions and all unfiltered. With your host, Vic Dash Tour.
So let's give a round of applause without further ado to my co-host, Mr. Tyler Nehila. Hey, buddy. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Move my shades there. Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure. I know it's been a little mix up here and there with the time scheduling and whatnots, but I definitely appreciate you for being flexible. That's all I can say. So,
of course, man. Of course.
So I went ahead and took the liberty of introducing you to everyone. But is there anything else that you want to say as far as who you are and what you're about?
I mean, I kind of shared everything I think I need to share with you already, so I think we're good.
All right, yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead and get into the Q&A portion of this episode, okay? Because I'm pretty sure based off the description that you're giving me in the description I just told the audience, they definitely want to know a little bit more about your challenges and overall your success and how you overcame them.
Sure.
So let's talk about your challenges for one. You said that you was turned away from college twice and arrested a few times. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Sure. So when I was in high school, I struggled with grades a lot. I was a C&D student. There were commercials on TV back in the day. I think it was for like Sylvan Learning Center or some type of tutoring thing, and it was like the mom and the child talking about college, and the girl's like, "Face it, I'm not getting into college," that kind of thing. And I felt like that was me. And I got accepted to a technical school, Penn College, for construction management. And I did a year and a half, so 3 semesters, and I happened to fail out because I was good at the construction part, but all the side classes like language arts, math, history, that kind of thing, I struggled with. And so I ended up failing out, and I actually tried 3 times to get back in through a community college and wasn't able to do that. The arrests, when I was in sophomore year of high school, I decided to sell my ADHD medication from the advice of a group of friends that I was hanging out with, which were bad news. And I ended up getting suspended and didn't get my license until I was 17. And that was like the first really big mistake of my life. When I was in college, I got arrested a second time. My roommate decided to smoke in the dorm room, and it reeked the whole floor of the dorm room. And so the cops came, searched all of our rooms. I happened to have a switchblade that my uncle brought back from Afghanistan when he was in the army, and I had it for good luck. It was in a lockbox. I never brought it out. and they asked to search it, and I was like, sure, like that's cool. So I ended up getting put in handcuffs and was like, why am I getting arrested? And they explained like the knife is illegal and that kind of thing. And then the third time and the last time, I was with some kids at a park, and we decided to smoke weed at night before going to the movie theater. And
So
lights
was
pull up in the
okay. We're getting
parking
a little
lot,
disconnection.
and we ran. I dropped my credit card, and I was the one that drove, so I was the only one that was proven to be there. And I ended up going back to the police station after they showed up to my parents' house, tried to reconcile the situation, and ended up taking the blame for all of it because only I was there with all the proof that they had, and I made the kids pay my court fees after everything was said and done.
That's
But yeah, so
badass.
it's been an up and down battle with continuing
Okay,
to
that's definitely
messed
a lot.
and then I kind of figured out my direction after that, and now I'm here. And there's a lot that happened between then, but yeah, that's basically it.
So it seemed like to me that this was prolonged, constant, reckless behavior. I went reckless in a sense as, very impulsive. And was this a byproduct of being diagnosed with bipolar 2? Do you feel as though it was the bipolar 2 that had a key effect as to why there's a bunch of challenges in your life? Or did you feel as though it was just a compilation of growing up, maturing, coming of age, and also dealing with this mental health illness on the side?
Yeah. No, I definitely think that my diagnosis has had something to do with it, but yeah, I do think that it was a mix of like my diagnoses and
Okay.
then also
Yeah, but
it.
yeah, I mean, overall, because a lot of your challenges you're explaining, right? A lot of the challenges in which you was describing, I think I know a lot of people that can actually relate, even those who don't have a mental health. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk about you dancing with the devil, okay? Which is in most cases it's the overindulgence in like reckless behavior, and in most cases, recreational drug use. Okay. Um, when you was in that period of dancing with the devil, was there a period in time in which you felt like you was going down a rabbit hole of despair,
Yeah, I would.
or was it just all fun and games?
No, it was definitely despair. All right, give me a sec.
No problem. Take your time. I'm just be sitting here chilling, posted up with my shades on. But yeah, need a bit of a break anyway, Ron. It's definitely it's a touching episode. I definitely give you that. And I swear we're not gonna stick within the nitty gritty. We're gonna raise the vibrations up in this bitch a little bit. And then so far with us talking about the challenges, I honestly feel as though there's numerous occasions in which maybe not all of us, but a few of us may have experienced similar challenges. Getting in with the law, dealing with social norms, dealing with anxiety that cause you to do reckless things. And in most cases, sometimes a lot of people don't bounce back from them. So Tyler is speaking about his story. You may correlate with some of the things that he is experiencing, and that you're like, okay, you know what? I don't need to be a victim of my circumstance. Okay. I am not a victim of my circumstances, because if he can do it, you can do it. Okay. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yes,
We
sir.
all can do it. And it's the reason why it's motivational. Definitely the reason why this story is it's intriguing. I definitely needed you to come on the show, Tyler. How you hearing? How's everything now?
You're good.
I guess you better leave and come back into the studio. He goes off. All right. Enough playing around. Yeah. So like I said, this episode is definitely a bit deep, okay? And the takeaway from this particular episode is not just highlighting the pain, the struggle, but also highlighting the overcoming of mental illness and not allowing it to be the staple in your life, restricting you from being the best version of yourself as possible. And that is what's most important.
I'm all set.
Okay. So they said that you joined in portrait orientation. So which means the landscape is going to be a bit off, but it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. This is a messy fucking show anyway, so it's whatever.
Yes, that's correct.
All right,
So yeah, I'm
sounds
definitely
good.
hearing you a lot better. Definitely sounds a hell of a lot better. Okay, so let's go ahead and like move it along a little bit. Okay, so what were the type of things that you were getting yourself into that now you look back and would have done differently, as far as you dancing with the devil and all that good stuff?
So when I say that, a little bit about the last 5 years of my life, or 5 months of my life. I got back from a business retreat in Montana, and we did things like ice baths, breath work, stuff like that. And we did this like 1 hour breathwork session where everybody in the room halfway through was sobbing. And there was like probably 50 people in the room doing breathwork with a professional coach. And they're super uncomfortable for me. I'm not used to like being around people sobbing and uncontrollably releasing all this trauma and stuff. And I was like, you know what, like maybe I'll try to do that. And I ended up tearing up a little bit, telling like my childhood self like it's gonna be okay. And I felt great afterwards, and then I got home and went like a downward spiral into a depression. And I feel like it was because it was a mix of me not being able to handle my own emotions prior to that, and then kind of suppressing some stuff, and then the breathwork kind of brought it out of me, and I wasn't able to handle it, and I kind of was sent into a depression. Um, Fast forward a little bit, and I was on this medication called Latuda, which tried to kill me. There were times where I had thoughts like randomly I would be like, all right, I just got to tell mom, like, I'm not going to make it. It's not working out. I just got to tell her that she needs to let me go. Like, that would help a mom in any situation. Like, there's just thoughts that don't make any sense. And then another situation or another case, I grabbed this knife actually to go hiking, and I held it to my stomach and
Oh shit!
was like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out like a samurai. And in my head, I was like, do it, motherfucker, do it. And then I was
Wow.
like, no, like people need to hear my message. People need to see that like you could be that close and be in that much darkness and still be able to pull yourself out of it. I'm a lot better now. But yeah, so that was a couple months ago, and then time went by, and I went up and down, tried to always retain information that would help me overcome what I was dealing with, whether that was in audiobooks or books or just motivational videos online. I started working out really hard again because that has proven to be 1.5 times better than any antidepressant out there. I did things like ice baths. I did things like breath work and meditated and anything I get my hands on really that would change my brain chemistry. Recently, I actually started microdosing mushrooms, and that's had a huge impact on my mental health. And things like that, like little changes you can make, like your diet and all that stuff. I would try anything that could get me out of it. And eventually I figured out the right medication to be on, and I figured out what things helped me the most, and just went from there and started building wins and habits, and now I'm out of it.
I love the fact that you're fighting a good fight, for one. I definitely need to give you that. You know, dealing with mental health challenges isn't easy. Like, it's not easy. And like you said, you held your hunting knife to your stomach, and that other voice in your head was telling you to just do it, motherfucker. Like, that internal battle alone is what nightmares are made of. And this is a very touching episode for me, considering my little sister who was diagnosed not only with bipolar 2 disorder, but also schizophrenia. And unfortunately, last year I lost her to suicide. So
Oh
speaking
man, I'm
about mental
sorry.
illness and how impactful it is, yeah, it hit me hard. And so it's my little sister. So it's like she didn't even get a chance to like really live. And it's very upsetting. And I really feel as though, like you said, you need to get this message out. And that's the reason why I want you to come into the show, to spread your message, to spread the awareness. And I love the fact that you're taking time to indulge health exercises that, like you said, that will change your brain chemistry. And that's very beneficial. It's definitely motivational. Some things that work for you may not work for others. But in your case, you found a method that works. And I think that's ideal. I think the first fight of that whole war is actually starting to fight and realizing what works best for you, knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are important. And yeah, that's amazing. And that's one of the reasons why I want to go ahead and talk about your Self Conquered Apparel brand. When did you start this particular brand, and how has this changed and motivated your life?
Oof, a lot. So I started it about a little bit more than a year and a half ago. I was working, I own my own construction company as well, and I was doing that and didn't feel fulfilled. I felt like I had all this experience in mental health and I wasn't doing anything of real value while I was alive. I felt that so the brand is specifically trying to help men with their mental health, but it's both for men and women. Nowadays, especially, there's a huge mental health crisis, and I think men's mental health is kind of swept under the rug a little bit because we kind of have to be tough and stoic and not talk about our emotions and that kind of thing. And I I was trying to figure out what the problem was, like why men don't align, like, because there's apparel brands out there that speak on mental health and apparel brands that motivate, and there's lots of charities and nonprofits that are specific to mental health, but I still see like the problem, like people aren't reaching out and trying to fix their mental health. They just feel like, oh, I have to suck it up and be tough and not tell anybody. And so what I'm trying to do is apply the warrior mindset to my brand so that the men that are dealing with something can see that and be like, okay, I could still be tough and be a man and deal with my struggles. Like I could still be a badass and have weak moments or be in darkness and that kind of thing. And so I started it about a year and a half ago. It was really slow starting out. I felt like I was a failure. I didn't know if what I was doing was worth it. And then just this past February or January, I made like a huge shift in what I was putting out content wise. And then also the designs of the t-shirts got a lot better. And then I started to gain some momentum, and I started getting tons of feedback from people, some people that I didn't even know that saw one of my videos and were like, yo, could I set up a call with you? I have like a lot that I want to talk about that I don't know who to talk to about. And I'm just like, yeah, man, like, let's do it. And other people would be very receptive to the message I was putting out, saying that like they have a family member, they themselves deal with something, and what I'm spreading is really help them. And it's really cool to see like the positive feedback and kind of know that like I'm making a difference. Like I'm being there for somebody who needs help. And it is healing me as well. Like I wish I had somebody when I was younger that kind of went through it and pulled themselves out to kind of guide me and teach me the ways of dealing with what I'm dealing with and overcome it. So, but yeah, so far it's been great with the apparel brand.
That's pretty dope. I love the fact that your main particular demographic is a men that's struggling with mental disabilities, and how to reclaim that power. Now, because this is a whole stigma, right? A whole stigma around being a man, that you have to stay strong. You have to, you can't show your weaknesses. You can't come off as, um, as, glorifying that. Okay, look, this is my weakness, but it's also my strength. Okay, so you redefine the narrative in which society standards pushed onto us as men, particularly men who suffer with disabilities, mental disabilities, and I feel as though that stretches out wide. Anxiety is a form of mental disability as well. Depression, one of the two things I've dealt with is anxiety on the most So yeah, I really love the fact how you redefine that narrative. Okay, and you're not buying into reinforcing stereotypes, and I love that. I love that.
Oh,
Love that for you.
Thank you, man.
No problem. So quick question: where can the listeners and audiences find all your works?
So they could go for Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. You can find me at Tyler Nehila. Last name is Nehila. And then if you want to check out the brand, support the cause, you can go to Self Conquered Apparel on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. and then selfconqueredapparel.com is the apparel website.
Nice. All the information will be listed in the description. What are some motivational truths you can share with the audience that can be beneficial for someone who's dealing with any type of mental illness or who want to start their own apparel brand? Like, what type of motivational truth can you give?
So overall motivation for anything related to mental health, it's always like it's definitely something that is thrown around a lot, and when you're in it, it's really hard to believe, but when you really grasp like what I'm about to say, it does help a lot. So one thing that I continue to tell myself when I was in it, and people would tell me and I'd be like, you don't know what I'm going through, but when I would tell it to myself, I would say, like, it will get better. It's going to get better. This is temporary, and eventually I'll figure this out, and I'll be out of this, and I'll be doing things that I've always wanted to do, and that helped a lot. So like, it gets better, thrown around a lot. It's way overused, but it still has a lot of power. And when you say that to yourself, it definitely makes a difference. Anybody that wants to start an apparel brand, I would say figure out exactly what your goal is, like who you want your demographic to be. Don't just make an apparel brand with like, you can with funny sayings, but there's so many apparel companies out there. Finding your niche and finding who you want to impact and what you want to do specifically, like super specific, is really how you're going to succeed and get ready to become an influencer. Because if you start an apparel brand, you got to make lots of videos on social media. But it's really hard at first. You're gonna go through a lot of roller coaster challenges, and eventually you'll get your footing and you'll figure it out if you don't quit and endure.
Nice. I think everyone can take a lot from you, and I feel as though you found your particular footing as far as what it is that you can do. Because, our life is pretty much a compilation of our past experiences, shared experiences, and also our ideals, morals, values, our ethics. And so for you to be where you are right now and to have your own platform and continue to push it and pay it forward, man, I have to give you that, bro. I have to give you that. Like I said, this has definitely been a touching episode for me. And I love the fact how you challenge yourself and you conquer. That's why your apparel company, Self Conquered, it's pretty inspirational, pretty goddamn inspirational. I'm gonna leave this episode, no problem. I want to leave this episode on a high note, so I'm gonna hit you with a few little dad jokes, okay? Okay, so
Sounds good.
This is just a little segment, a little fun way. It's called Jokes on You, and which it just kind of just lighten it up just a little bit. Okay, so Jokes on You. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay. Okay, first question. What do you call a female dog in heat?
I don't know, but I feel like the word bitch is involved, but I'm not sure.
You give up?
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, Tyler, you were so close. What do you call a female dog in heat? You call it a hot bitch. Duh. But bitch was definitely in it. I was like, oh, he's onto it. Yeah, okay. Next one. Okay. What did the egg say to the boiling water?
That one, I got no clue. No guesses.
No guesses? Okay. Sorry, it's taking long for me to get hard. I just got laid this morning.
Wow. That's definitely a dad joke.
Dad joke, right? I love it though. I love it. Oh goodness, this is like just so fucking like just daddy jokes, like for real though. But next one. Why eggs don't tell jokes? You got this one. It's in the joke. Why don't eggs tell jokes?
I don't know.
Because they would crack up, obviously. So fucking corny. Okay. I'll hit you with the last one. Okay, last one. I come in many different sizes, and sometimes I drip. When you blow me, you feel good. What am I? I repeat. I come in many different sizes, and sometimes I drip. When you blow me, you feel good. What am
I feel like I've heard this one before, but I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, I don't know.
You want a hint?
Yeah.
It's on your face and everyone has one.
Your nose?
Yeah, there we go. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. There we go. You know, like a lot of times when that joke is told, everyone's mind goes straight to the gutter. They're thinking something else, you know, something a little more explicit, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
But, yeah, that's about it. That concludes just jokes on you. Just a fun little way to like kind of stir up the tension a little bit, you know, kind of alleviate it a bit and leave it. Yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure. If you can just reiterate exactly where all the listeners can find your works.
Sure. So selfconqueredapparel.com is the website. Self Conquered Apparel is the Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And then if you want to find me, you can find me at Tyler Nehila 2385, which is my Instagram hit.
Okay, there we go. We all heard it. So anyway, this concludes this episode of the Dash It Out Show. Thank you so much, my awesome co-host Tyler Nehila, who came on, spoke his piece, and shared his truth. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Definitely a round of applause. We're gonna add a little sound effects in there a little bit. Anyways, I'm your host, Big Dash Store. And yeah, that's about it. And we did it. We did it for this episode, and it's definitely been a wild one. So until next time, I'm your host, Big Dash Tour. Dash It Out Show, signing out. Peace.